Hello everyone, my name is Yatee Krishna and today we are going to talk about the British rule in India. Today we are going to talk about how the British established their rule in India. So let's start. The Britishers are also known the English. Since ancient times, traders and travelers used to visit India for spices, textiles and etc. They used to visit it because India was very rich at that time and had spices, textiles, and many more things that were very useful and very rich in the British area and were rarely found over there. Some spices, like the Malabar spices, were very precious and were grown in large quantities in India. So, on 20th May 1498, Vasco da Gama, a Portuguese sailor, along with his crew, landed in Calicut, present-day Kozhikode in Kerala, India. His discovery opened the gates of the India for the English sailors. Through the Britishers, the Dutch and the French sailors came to India in search of spices, textiles, and many more. Fun fact: Christopher Columbus, an Italian explorer, decided to find an alternate sea route to reach India. That's why he started to sail westwards towards the Atlantic Ocean. He and his crew landed on an island. They thought it was India, but it was the island of Guanahani in the Bahamas. His discovery led to the area which later came to be known as the America. So now we are going to talk about the EIC. The EIC is also known as East India Company. The East India Company was founded in the 1600s by the English traders. They acquired a charter from Queen Elizabeth I, who was the ruler of England at that time, granting them the right to trade with India. They then secured the rights from the then Mughal Emperor Jahangir. The East India Company set up many factories at different places such as Ahmedabad, Burhanpur, Agra and Surat. In 1696, they set up a fortified factory at Sultanati, Calcutta, known as Fort Williams. The EIC continuously tried to gain concessions and exploited the rights given to them to trade in India. They deprived the local rulers from their revenues, which caused immense loss to them. And the British had a lot of fun in this. So Sirajuddaula, the Nawab of Bengal, wanted to check the evil intentions of the British. Thus, there was a fight in 1757 which took place in Plassey, Bengal, between the forces of Sirajuddaula, the then Nawab of Bengal, and the EIC under the command of Robert Clive. Sirajuddaula lost in the battle as his commander-in-chief Mir Jafar did not help him in the war and joined hands with the British and did not help him when it was needed. After the EIC won the battle, they made Mir Jafar the new Nawab of Bengal, and this was a very significant in the history of them establish their rule in India, as it helped them strengthen their position, and they had one of the most rich and powerful lands of India, Bengal, under their control. Now we are going to talk about Battle of Buxar. Battle of Buxar was fought in 1764 between the combined forces of Shah Alam II, the then Mughal Emperor, the Nawab of Awadh, Sujauddaulah, and Mir Qasim, the Nawab of Bengal, and the British forces under the command of General Hector Munro. They lost the battle because Shah Alam left those two, and one by one all the emperors left, and the battle was fought in Buxar. Present day it is located in Bihar, but back in 1764 it was located in Bengal. It was a really important victory for them as they started to collect land revenue from Bengal, Bihar and Odisha, now Odisha. So now we are going to talk about the Great Uprising of 1857. The Great Uprising of 1857 is also known as the First War of Independence. It was the first move on a larger scale to mobilize the Indians to overthrow the British rule. Now, what caused this Great Uprising of 1857? The EIC exploited Indians in many ways. But the Great Uprising of 1857 marked the end of the company in the history. So now we are going to discuss what caused this Great Uprising of 1857. So the British announced a new rifle which were used to attack their enemies. Now there was a rumor that the rifle, it was covered with a greased paper which had a cow or pig or any other animal fat on it. Now the paper had to be bitten off, and after that only it could be shooted. So it enraged both the Hindu and Muslim sepoys as they thought the Britishers were trying to hurt their religious sentiments by forcing non-veg or animal fat into their mouths. So, and they got really angry about it. Mangal Pandey, who was a sepoy in the 34th BNI, which is also known as Bengal Native Infirmary, he on 29th May 1857 he decided to attack his seniors after he refused to bite the greased paper with his mouth. And that caused an uprising between all of the India. The uprising did not success because only a few parts of India took part in it and not the whole of India. So now we are going to talk about the impact of 1857, the Great Uprising of 1857. The impact, immediately after the uprising ended, Mangal Pandey was sentenced to death and Queen Victoria was declared as the Empress of India. She was declared as the Empress of India. She promised to look after the welfare of the Indian people and made new laws such as subsidiary islands and doctrine of lapse. The people were very angry as the Britishers, as they were forced to see that Britishers were more superior to them. Now we are going to talk about another fun fact. Rani Lakshmi Bai, who was the Rani of Jhansi, the British decided to attack Jhansi and ordered Rani Lakshmi Bai to leave the fort. She was determined to not give Jhansi to the British forces. She fought fearlessly along her troops and died in the battle. Her army lost in the battle, but she will be always remembered for her bravery and courage. This is a very small but summarized of how the British came to India and established their rule. How they first sold cheap manufactured goods and the handwork, and they ruined many people. They started it by ruining artisans and craftsmen as they produced their cheap manufactured goods in market for a lower price, which made their hard work and handmade goods uneconomical to produce. And when the artisans and craftsmen stopped making their goods, they increased the price. They always discriminated people. Farmers were forced to go cash crops such as indigo and cotton instead of food crops. The arrogance and discrimination of the British was not appreciated by Indian people. Though this is just a summary, I think it explains very well that how the British came and established their rule. Thank you and Jai Hind.